The monstrous roar silenced everyone. Camus attempted to speak, yet Vikir swiftly covered her mouth, cautioning against loud noises. Despite its poor eyesight, the beast moved forward, relying on its elite hearing. Vikir's recollection of an old native story echoed in his mind, describing terrifying incidents caused by this creature. Now known as Madame Eight Legs, classified as an S-class monster capable of devastating the entire nation in a single day. The creature spewed venom in all directions, forcing Vikir to dodge while Adolf shielded himself and Camus. One of the barbarians was hit, beginning to scream, fortunately, only because the venom struck his hair. Ayan swiftly intervened, cutting off the affected hair and scolding the man for raising his voice. Gazing up at the towering spider, the situation appeared dire. Both groups signaled a retreat, but the Madame Eight Legs keenly noticed their positions, choosing to pursue Vikir's group. A soldier attempted a fire spell, assuming the creature's weakness was fire, but mid-sentence, he was pierced in the chest, shocking the others. Another soldier panicked and screamed despite the monster's ability to detect only sound. Meanwhile, Vikir continued running, seemingly unconcerned about the soldiers he left behind. He resolved that someone must hold the creature back or else they would all perish. Staffordshire volunteered, but Vikir doubted his skills would suffice. He realized the best person suited for the task was himself. Stepping towards a seemingly certain death, he drew his sword, leaving Camus speechless as she watched him readying to confront Madame Eight Legs. Despite her tearful pleas and Adolf's well wishes, Vikir pressed on, urging the rest of the group to continue fleeing, while he stood prepared to confront the monstrous creature. As the group disappeared from sight, Vikir found a moment to relax. While the looming threat of the beast destroying his territory didn't align with his plans, it presented an opportunity for him to test his skills. He pondered the chance to fake his own death, escaping Hugo's vigilant watch. When Vikir is prepared, he intends to return to the clan. Drawing upon his aura, Vikir harnesses the power of Beelzebub. Aware that using less than all of his power might result in his demise, Vikir resolves to employ every ounce of strength to vanquish this monstrous creature. He charges forward at an incredible speed, leaping into the air, locking eyes with the beast. Concentrating all his energy into Beelzebub, a blinding light radiates across the sky as Vikir unleashes the formidable Baskerville Fifth technique. Every bit of his power is channeled into the attack, forcing Madame Eight Legs onto the ground. The dazzling brilliance of the light catches Camus's attention as she flees, yet a foreboding feeling gnaws at her, fearing that the love of her life may not return. In despair, she screams out his name, filled with worry and uncertainty. Vikir experiences vivid memories of his past, reliving his first death by the guillotine, where he faced the intimidating presence of the Baskerville clan led by Hugo, each glance brimming with a lethal intent. As the haunting dream dissipates, he awakens in a mysterious tent, surrounded by bandages and wounds. Days have passed, yet Vikir remains unsure if he survived the battle, knowing that using any less power against Madame Eight Legs would have resulted in his immediate demise. Struggling with pain, Vikir acknowledges his lingering weakness, a direct consequence of his actions. He notices a rope nearby and contemplates his situation. Despite his current state, Vikir muses that everything seems to align with his plan. With numerous witnesses to confirm his death, he believes that Hugo won't suspect anything amiss. Exiting the tent, he discovers himself in the Balak camp, a barbarian village. Vikir ponders if he's being held captive but realizes his current injuries hinder any escape. Around him, he overhears slaves being forcibly moved into the camp, subjected to mockery. Although he recognizes their faces, Vikir wonders why he's not in chains like the others. Ahan approaches Vikir and inquires if he speaks their language. Ahan implies that Vikir should be grateful for not facing the fate of his comrades. However, the situation turns darker as Ahan's gaze becomes piercing, questioning Vikir about his feelings watching his comrades meet their tragic fate. Vikir, restricted by his incapacitated body, seethes with an inner rage, unable to prevent the horrors around him. He realizes that, were it not for being considered Ayan's pet dog, he might have suffered a worse fate. Vikir harbors years of pent-up anger, promising silently that when he recovers, he will seek retribution against Ahan for the torment endured. Vikir traces the rope tied around his neck, trekking a seemingly endless distance for what feels like miles. Finally, arriving at the other end of the rope, he discovers Ayan bathing in a small pond. Their eyes meet, and in a sudden move, Ayan swiftly yanks the rope around his neck, deftly dodging an incoming arrow. Ayan commands the individuals responsible for the shot to relocate their training. Emerging from the water, she expresses gratitude to Vikir for liberating her from the slave auction, citing their tradition of reciprocal kindness, returning kindness twofold and revenge tenfold. Ayan claims to have saved Vikir twice, prompting his curiosity. Vikir recalls the first time when Ayan risked her life rescuing him from Madame Eight Legs, and the second when she healed him and protected him from other barbarians. Perplexed by the significance of the rope around his neck, Vikir questions why he's being kept alive. Ayan teasingly tugs at the rope, asserting Vikir's value and hinting at how much his clan might pay for his return. Concerned that this situation could ruin his entire plan, Vikir grapples with his options. Ayan smiles, finding hope in what she perceives as Vikir's acceptance of returning home. However, she playfully asserts that releasing him won't be easy. Instead, she declares her intention to make Vikir her slave, drawing her sword and demanding to be addressed as master. Intrigued by the expression in Vikir's eyes, she sheathes her sword, leading him to receive care first. They set off to meet the village head, where an imposing figure sits on a throne crafted from the remains of slain beasts, showcasing a formidable display of authority. Vikir and Ayan navigate through the camp, where Ayan acquaints him with the village's way of life. She explains the Balak's indifference to material possessions, emphasizing the freedom to sleep and eat wherever one pleases, a lifestyle starkly different from that of the so-called civilized clans. To Ayan, it feels familiar and comforting, assuring Vikir he'll adapt in due time. Their journey leads them to the matriarch's tent, where Ayan, referring to her as mother, immediately hints at their close relationship. The matriarch playfully reveals Ayan's frequent discussions about Vikir, causing Ayan to blush in Vikir's presence. Throughout their interactions, Vikir, the young hound, attempts to assess the situation. He recognizes the Night Fox as the one who previously injured his father, Hugo. Vikir ponders what might have happened if he confronted her in his past life, realizing his minimal chances of defeating her or escaping her grasp. As Vikir perceives the Night Fox's intense aura fixating on him, he worries she might uncover his true identity as Hugo's son. However, she casually dismisses any recognition, stating that all Imperials look alike and he could be anybody. The matriarch, unimpressed with Vikir, questions why her daughter takes an interest in him. Yet, Ayan defends Vikir, explaining his injuries resulted from his battle with Madame Eight Legs. While the Night Fox appears indifferent, she remarks that as long as Vikir's seed is potent, the state of his body is inconsequential, an observation that embarrasses Ayan. Ayan, clarifying her intentions to use Vikir as a slave, receives a nonchalant response from her mother. Time passes, and they find themselves walking in the forest. Vikir, curious after all this time, finally asks Ayan for her name, having never known it. He asserts he doesn't intend to address her as master. Ayan, initially startled by Vikir's audacity as a slave, blushes and introduces herself. When Vikir extends his greetings, inquiring about her intentions with him, Ayan, feeling flustered, regains composure and issues her first command, to construct a house where Vikir will reside. She considers it a perfect opportunity to discipline an arrogant slave. The spoiled imperial brat probably has no clue how to construct a house. Vikir, understanding exactly what Ayan is aiming for, ponders how to execute this task and shift the balance between them. With a cunning smile, he swiftly completes the construction of a perfectly built tent, impressing Ayan, who even brings him some materials to assist. Vikir acknowledges that despite being injured, it's been a while since he's engaged in such tasks, essential skills for survival he acquired while following orders for Hugo in extreme environments. Ayan admires Vikir's attention to detail, notably his creation of a perfect drain to regulate rain flow. However, before she can say anything, Vikir interrupts, pointing out the unevenness of her mother's tent and offering a detailed explanation on how to rectify it. This leaves Ayan slightly bewildered, realizing she comprehends what he's suggesting. As she watches Vikir display his handyman qualities, he hand-delivers bricks to the matriarch and reinforces her tent's center log to prevent swinging and leaks. Impressed, the matriarch orders Vikir to assist the village with similar matters, inadvertently creating more work for himself. The next day, Vikir is seen doing laundry, and Ayan straightforwardly questions whether he finds these menial tasks boring and if he desires to be an official member of the tribe. Vikir confesses that this laborious work feels more peaceful than his previous life, though Ayan interprets this as her slave training being effective, overlooking the lifelong torment Vikir endured. She persists in trying to persuade him to join her tribe and offers to untie the rope if he listens to her. Vikir feigns interest and inquires about the task, learning that he must hunt a substantial prey to solve the tribe's food shortage, leading to children going hungry. Ayan assures him it'll be easy and emphasizes the opportunity this presents for Vikir to gain acceptance into the tribe. Despite his internal conflict, Vikir agrees, much to Ayan's delight, who informs him they'll depart the following day. Unbeknownst to them, someone observing these interactions with disgust. We're introduced to a new character, an older man whose hand is coated in charcoal. He beckons the younger ones to gather around, signaling the commencement of a ceremony. This elder is the Balak shaman, a human figure revered for blessing each warrior. Their tradition involves using charcoal powder to conceal their guilt from the god of death when hunting prey, while the warriors hold a somewhat negative opinion of the shaman due to his blessings occasionally failing. They still uphold the tradition. Amidst the commotion, someone assumes the shaman holds little real influence in the village. The shaman showcases a remarkable face painting job on Ayan, eliciting mockery from Vikir as he joins in jesting. Brushing off the teasing, Ayan discloses to Vikir that she doesn't see eye to eye with the shaman. She gestures with her hand, offering Vikir a dog collar, leaving him perplexed. However, deciding to immerse himself in their customs since he's already there, Vikir complies. Ayan then leads Vikir to mount her wolf, suggesting he hold her waist to avoid falling off. Vikir refuses, but as the wolf begins to move, Ayan smirks knowingly, and true to her expectation, Vikir tumbles off the wolf's back immediately. Teasingly, Ayan remarks that Vikir should have held her waist if he didn't want to fall off again. Flat on the ground, Vikir wonders if he has the strength to rise due to the bone-deep pain. Suddenly, a dark shadow falls over half of Vikir's face as Ahun stands before him, a bow and arrows strapped around his waist. Ayan's voice calls out, unimpressed at Ahun's appearance. Ahun remarks to Ayan that she seems to be free, playing around with her slave. He declares his intent to lead the hunting group this time and put his grandfather's honor on the line. In response, Ayan questions why Ahun is risking his grandfather's honor when his expertise lies solely in shamanism. Ahun, infuriated, kicks Vikir in the face abruptly, causing Vikir to be pushed back several yards. Smirking, Ahun mocks Ayan, questioning her actions of placing a neck protection piece for hunters on a slave. He challenges Ayan on how she plans to use the injured Vikir as an assistant if he can't defend himself, advising her to reconsider having him by her side. Ayan smiled slyly and suggested, perhaps you should check your waistband before making such claims about Vikir. Ahun, confused and shocked, looks down and realizes his arrows are missing. Stunned, Ahun mutters, "What?" Vikir, spitting out blood, advises Ahun to take better care of his weapons, treating them with the same care one would show to a cherished lover. He holds the pouch of arrows close to his chest, smiling provocatively at Ahun. Enraged by how swiftly his arrows were taken, Ahun is fuming, while Ayan tries to suppress her laughter. Ahun, lunging toward Vikir, insults him by calling him an arrogant slave, poised to punch him. Ayan intervenes, swiftly using the tip of her bow to block Ahun's advance, commanding, "That's enough." She asserts her authority, questioning Ahun about his actions, stating, "Whose slave do you think you're punishing of your own accord?" Ahun, defensive, argues that Vikir is a slave and insults a Balak warrior. Ayan, with a hint of disappointment, retorts, "You're acting pathetically in front of him." Ahun persists, questioning why Ayan is defending Vikir so fervently if he's just a slave. Ahun, still uncertain about their relationship, cautiously suggests, "Don't tell me you've grown fond of the slave." Ayan, taken aback and unsure of how to respond, slaps her forehead and concedes, "Fine, a slave is a slave. If he did something wrong, he should be punished." Agreeing with Ayan's stance, Ahun acknowledges her statement. However, Ayan asserts that he doesn't have the right to punish Vikir because he is her slave. Turning towards Vikir, she delivers a harsh punch straight to his face, causing blood to splatter across the green grass. Ahun stands there, mouth agape, shocked at witnessing Ayan striking Vikir. Vikir lies unconscious on the ground, while Ayan stares Ahun directly in the face, asking if he's content with the punishment. She addresses Ahun's past frustrations, stating, "I know you were upset because you weren't able to catch yourself a maiden before. But if you ever harm my slave again, I'll take you down." A red aura surrounds Ayan as she maintains a serious expression, making it clear to Ahun the seriousness of her warning. Surprised, Ahun merely responds with a quick "got it," understanding the power Ayan holds. Vikir lay there unconscious. Soon after, Ayan and Vikir were seen traveling through the forest. Ayan, feeling somewhat embarrassed for punching Vikir, stole glances at him from the corner of her eye. Vikir, lost in his thoughts, gazed downward. Softly, Ayan asked Vikir if the punch had hurt him and if he was angry with her. However, Vikir remained silent, contemplating that Ahun was a stubborn guy and that it had been necessary. It was the only way to halt Ahun's petty pursuit of revenge. As Vikir continued to stay quiet, Ayan, unsure, questioned why he wasn't responding. Vikir managed to mutter that it hurt. Swiftly, Ayan shifted her position to face Vikir directly. "Does it hurt a lot? Is it severe? Is your life in danger?" she asked, her hands gently touching Vikir's face. She leaned closer to him. Vikir, still feeling the pain, replied that it hurt to speak. "I've had these types of injuries many times," she added. Ayan, feeling regretful for punching him, kissed Vikir as a way of expressing her remorse. Ayan blushed after kissing Vikir, feeling a sense of assurance that she was right about him, an Imperial with promise. Vikir was taken aback by Ayan's gesture, wondering if barbarians typically kissed each other's injuries. He was concerned that such a practice might spread infections. Blushing in response, Ayan asked Vikir if there was something he wanted from her, assuring him that she'd do anything within her ability if it was something she could fulfill. Vikir, surprised by her offer, questioned if he could ask anything. Ayan, avoiding eye contact, assured him, of course, Balak warriors don't break their word. As Vikir pondered what to ask for, Ayan felt embarrassed, wondering why it was taking Vikir so long to decide. She was nervous it might be something inappropriate. After a brief pause, Vikir finally spoke up, expressing his desire for her to teach him how to use a bow. Disappointed by Vikir's request, hoping for something more romantic, Ayan laughed it off, stating that they would start special training sessions from the next day. Vikir agreed to it, and Ayan couldn't help but feel a bit let down by the request, though she kept her amusement hidden. The next day, Vikir practiced with a bow and arrow, but his shots missed the mark. Ayan teased him, remarking, "My slave seems to have no talent in archery." She instructed him to aim at an embedded arrow, guiding Vikir by placing her hand on his lower back and the other on his shoulders, attempting to straighten his posture as he aimed. Vikir found Ayan's training method quite puzzling. When questioned about her method, Ayan reminded Vikir that he was the one who asked her to teach him. She explained that this was how young Balak warriors were trained, smiling at their current situation. Acknowledging Vikir's injured body, Ayan pointed out that he wouldn't be able to use a sword for a while, so he needed to focus on hunting larger prey to maintain his reputation. She continued adjusting his posture, pushing Vikir's bones to their limit. As they concentrated on the training, Ayan's wolf suddenly emerged from the bushes, startling them both. Ayan, pressing on Vikir's lower back, released her hold, causing Vikir to immediately collapse to the ground, clutching his back in pain. Encouraging him to get up and stop moping, Ayan gave him a warm smile. She mentioned that there was no time to rest, indicating that training would intensify from now on. They moved to a different location, where they overlooked a stream that flowed into an ocean. Ayan explained that this area was abundant with animals relying on the water, which also connected to the ocean. Ayan remembered her grandmother's tale about salmon that swam up waterfalls, evolving into massive beasts. Most salmon failed to make it past the waterfall, falling onto sharp rocks as punishment. Those that did became prey for ox bears. Vikir noticed an ox bear, realizing it was unlike the ones he had encountered in the academy. This was on another level entirely. Ayan clarified that this ox bear was no ordinary one. It hailed from a superior bloodline, surviving numerous calamities. Vikir, eyeing Ayan, asked if she wanted him to capture it. Ayan quickly negated the idea, stating that wasn't the plan. She explained that she directed her white wolf to find a strong female ox bear to hunt, a female being courted by male bears. Vikir observed that the female repeatedly rejected the male bear's advances and asked how strong the male bear must be. Ayan chuckled, clarifying that it was the opposite. The female ox bear wasn't seeking strength, but rather looking for a weaker partner she could dominate. Vikir was surprised. Ayan elaborated that strong males might kill their partners in excitement, making them unpopular among ox bears. So, the females chose smaller, weaker partners, akin to how Balak warriors selected their mates. She asked Vikir if he knew what kind of partners were usually chosen. Typically young individuals with excellent DNA. Even better if they were weakened due to injury. Vikir pondered her words, understanding her focus on DNA. Ayan continued, explaining they needed to wait. The female would entirely subdue the male's strength. In the midst of the forest, the sounds of grunting bears echoed as they mated, leaving behind a source of food for Vikir and Ayan. Vikir returned to Ayan after 4 days of monitoring the bear's activities, feeling uncertain about his role. Ayan inquired if he had left food for the bears. Vikir confirmed that he had been supplying the hungry ox bear with food to sustain their mating process. However, he explained that the fruit he provided temporarily boosted strength, but consumed lifespan in return, warning about its harmful effects. Ayan held a small marble-like ball, noting that the intelligent female bear would comprehend their intentions. She explained that while the male bear might understand, he'd have to consume it to handle the female. Vikir understood why she targeted a big and strong female. The female's plan was to weaken the male bear. Ayan handed Vikir some soup, urging him to eat for healing. Vikir questioned whether the intense mating behavior of the bears was normal. Ayan casually mentioned that all male Balaks behaved similarly, but speculated that imperial males might not appreciate it. Vikir accidentally spilled the soup upon hearing this, and Ayan teased him, suggesting it was due to his background. In response, Vikir asked if she could handle the situation any better. Ayan playfully moved closer to Vikir before abruptly stopping, alerting him that the female bear seemed to be impregnated. As the female ox bear roared and left the cave, Vikir, perched on a tree, inquired why it was chasing the male away. Ayan explained that an ox bear, done with mating, became a territorial predator, warning the male bear not to return. Vikir speculated that the female bear might be seeking rest, having exerted itself without sleep for the past 4 days. Ayan explained that it would hide in a secluded and secure spot. Their plan was to quietly follow its trail and chase it after it settled to sleep. As they trailed the female bear, Ayan and Vikir departed from the warm, verdant forest to the icy winter mountains while riding the white wolf. Vikir, riding along, questioned why the tired female bear was moving so far away. Ayan clarified that it sought a location with fewer threats, as the cold environment prevented mosquitoes and other hazards present in the forests. Vikir realized the ox bear's high intelligence and strategic thinking. However, he felt cold due to his physical condition in the chilly climate. Ayan, noticing Vikir's discomfort, suggested he should warm himself by getting closer to her. Vikir initially refused, but Ayan emphasized that stiffening from the cold might impede their hunting. She asked if he wanted to be an obstacle during the hunt, making Vikir contemplate her unexpectedly logical advice. Understanding his situation, Vikir eventually agreed and embraced Ayan around her waist for warmth. Ayan blushed at the sudden gesture but convinced herself it was purely to ensure her slave's well-being, attributing it to her responsibility as a master. Their tranquility was interrupted when the white wolf growled, signaling the disappearance of the ox bear's tracks. Searching the surroundings, Ayan spotted the beast lying in wait for them, poised to ambush and attack them as it lunged from its hiding spot with lethal intent. In the village, a large crowd gathered, elated at the sight of Ahun's successful hunt. The crowd marveled at the boar, expressing their amazement. They cheered, remarking that with so much meat, the entire tribe could feast to their heart's content. Some children, thrilled by Ahun's impressive catch, shared their own smaller victories, having captured 3 rabbits. They gleefully acknowledged that Ahun's boar was undoubtedly the most significant prey of the day. Amidst the chatter, speculation arose about whether Ahun would now become the hunting commander. 2 children exchanged thoughts, suggesting that according to the rules, Ahun might indeed assume such a role. Another member of the crowd pointed out that even though Ayan held the position, there were limits to what she could hunt alone. They mentioned her bringing a slave along and questioned whether that would prove to be a burden for her. Ahun, visibly pleased and proud of his accomplishment, asserted confidently that the slave would only hinder Ayan's success. He scoffed, declaring his belief that she would return empty-handed without even managing to catch a single rabbit. The ox bear swung its sharp claws at Ayan, catching her off guard. Vikir, gripping her waist, swiftly yanked her backward, causing them both to tumble. Ayan landed atop Vikir, her wolf leaping forward, poised to attack the bear. "Are you okay?" Vikir asked, still holding Ayan. "Thanks to you, I'm alive," Ayan replied. She realized the cunning strategy behind the bear's choice of a weaker mate. The bear's intelligence surpassed that of other monsters. Vikir suggested they couldn't avoid a direct confrontation with the bear. Ayan pondered her reliance on Vikir's aid. Concerned about her authority as his master, she ordered Vikir to stay back while she readied her bow and arrow, fixing a determined glare at the bear. Confused, Vikir questioned why he was told to rest while Ayan prepared for battle. Mounting her wolf, Ayan skillfully leaped from one rock to another, a unique Balak slave technique, launching arrows at the bear. Although her arrows struck the bear's back, it continued its charge. In frustration, Ayan shouted at the ox bear for its indecent act before her slave, expressing her intense resentment toward the bear. The bear dashed behind a massive rock, attempting to shield itself from the incoming arrows. Ayan prepared for another onslaught, her determination unwavering. "Do you think hiding behind an object will save you?" she taunted, drawing her bowstring taut. While a good arrow could pierce through steel, if it didn't want to pierce through anything, it wouldn't even penetrate a leaf. A vivid blue aura radiated around Ayan as she focused her energy. The arrow was released, hurtling through the air and piercing the icy boulder with astonishing precision. It struck the bear with direct force, causing it to cough up a pool of blood. Vikir was stunned, witnessing the ox bear, which had hidden behind the rock, now hit by the arrow. The wave of aura from the arrow had passed through the boulder accurately, hitting its intended target, an archery skill akin to an art form, a hunting technique executed flawlessly. Ayan turned to Vikir, asking if he had witnessed that feat. Amazed by Ayan's incredible power, Vikir contemplated that if one were to evaluate her based on her skills alone, she might surpass even Camus Morg. The bear, blood trickling from its mouth, pivoted and charged directly at Ayan. She swiftly launched more arrows at the charging bear, each finding their mark. "Do you believe you can withstand my arrows?" Ayan questioned. "An arrow imbued with my resolve could shatter even a castle wall," she declared, aiming a potent arrow at the bear. To her surprise, the bear narrowly evaded the arrow, leaving Ayan perplexed. It lunged at her, knocking her off her wolf and crashing onto the icy ground. Recollecting her mother's advice about dying beasts sensing imminent danger, Ayan realized she had underestimated the bear's instincts. She was immobilized, unable to evade as the bear loomed closer, growling and ready to attack. Closing her eyes, Ayan braced herself, prepared for her impending demise. Then, a voice shattered the tense silence. "Are you finished showcasing a master's dignity? Because it's my turn now." With a swift motion, Vikir threw his arm forward, directing it straight at the bear's head. Unleashing the power of Beelzebub, fiery flames erupted, engulfing and thoroughly scorching the bear, bringing an end to its life. Ayan was left awestruck, speechless at witnessing Vikir's remarkable display. Yet, as Vikir had anticipated, utilizing this skill had taken its toll, and he immediately collapsed, unconscious, having pushed himself to his limits.